So at this phase in the investigation, it's basically we're continuing our search and our tips to be as detailed as possible. We have completed multiple searches in multiple areas, and in the searches we're making sure that different people search those same areas multiple times. So we have multiple eyes on every different scene, and we can make sure that we vary our coverage of the search areas. We're continuing to reach out to and utilize various resources. We have UAV units in the air, we have divers in the water, and additional marine resources on the water as well. We're continuing to expand and to just check different areas for what we're searching. Give me some questions that'll help me speak.
How far is the search area right now? Where does it extend to?
So, to the best of my knowledge, we have gone all the way from salt ponds. I can pull up the map. Ashley, do you know the name of the bottom of the street? The lower streets that we've checked to? No. Okay. So basically all the way to salt ponds, extending about a mile south of the origin where the child went missing from.
I understand you all are still, I guess, talking with the parents, and I guess what can you tell us about that cooperation between that?
That conversation is ongoing, and our investigators are working diligently to try to extract information from the parents and anybody that may have a lead on where this juvenile may be.
Can you tell us with every, we've seen, that every hour counts in a case like this, now that we're at this stage in where we are, how concerning is that, or need?
Our concern is just as high as it is now as it was in the very beginning. Locating this juvenile is an extremely high priority for us. We want to ensure that the juvenile returns home safely.
Do you know, or can you tell us how many kids the parents had in the home at the time, or in general?
I'm not prepared to speak on how many children were in the home. I don't have that information.
Are there any suspects that anyone you're looking for besides this child?
We are considering every available option in this case. We're exploring every possibility, whether it be from a potential abduction to just a missing juvenile. So we're not leaving a stone uncovered in our attempts to find this child.
So you haven't found anything yet that would lead you one way to the other?
I can't speak to the details of what the investigation is taking place. I'm not confident on what progress the investigators have made. I mean, even if I would be, I probably couldn't speak on in terms of the details of that.
Has the child ever left this residence before? Has this ever happened?
I don't have any information that would suggest that.
And the timeline you all initially gave is still the same as far as put the child to bed at 1 o'clock, reported the child missing at 11:35 in the morning. Is that still what you all believe to have happened?
That's correct. Our timeline has not changed.
That's, again, 1 a.m. The child was in the home.
That's what we believe at this time.
Have you received any sort of tips from the public that you guys are taking in?
We've had people call in, and we would ask them to continue to call in. If they see something that looks out of place, we're going to certainly take that into consideration, and that will certainly aid us in the investigation.
When you say you all are searching air in the water, salt pond area, is there a reason why you all are searching even in the water, areas where there's water and outside over here by the Buffalo Beach area?
It's just one of those elements that we have to take into consideration. At this point, like I said, we're examining every possible avenue that could have happened. So with the water being so close to the point of origin, that's just one of the elements that we're taking into consideration.
Can you talk to us about this, the procedure of the search going forward? Are we still full capacity out here? Is that going to continue around the clock, or what's the plan?
We are still full capacity right now, and I would anticipate to see that continue throughout the afternoon and evening hours.
Can you talk about how, as time goes on, does it get harder? Does it, get a little more scary? Kind of explain to us what your thoughts are.
Well, it weighs deeply on the officers. I mean, we're out here and we're putting everything that we have into locating this juvenile. So it certainly weighs on our hearts and minds, as well as the hearts and minds of the community. We want to see this come to a positive resolution.
There's a lot of people in the community that have been out kind of doing their own searching. What advice or what would be your message to people? Because they've asked us, is there an organized gathering of community people, or so we've been getting a lot of questions about that. People that are kind of just out on their own,
Sure.
helping. or they could be hurting, what's your message for them?
Well, we're not formally at this time seeking any organized community search. We're grateful for their willingness to help, and we are appreciative of that, and we understand how it weighs on the community's hearts and minds as well. But at this time, we're just continuing our search efforts so we can document and remain organized in what we have and haven't covered.
Is there a reason why you prefer to keep just police searching instead of having the public come out and do that?
It would be documentation and accountability, so we can make sure that we know what eyes covered what ground. And once you start to add in civilians and community members, that organization tends to fall apart just a little bit.
I think at the morning briefing you mentioned something about 10 still being at headquarters at your last update. Has that situation changed?
I'm under the understanding that the parents are still at police headquarters speaking with investigators.
Can you tell us what adults were in the home at the time?
I don't have that information.
And it is parents.
Mommy and dad are there?
We have 2 parents at police headquarters, but I'm not prepared to speak on the family dynamic.
And so you expect to be going into the evening, or we're going to be doing it tomorrow morning? Hopefully not.
I don't have that information. Obviously, we hope that this comes to a resolution as quickly as possible, and it's a positive resolution, but we're prepared to exert whatever resources necessary to locate this child.
Can you just kind of reiterate what this community should expect to see in the next coming hours and days if this continues?
I would expect that the community should anticipate seeing a heavy police presence. You'll see people walking through your neighborhoods, going through your, perhaps going through your yards and knocking on your doors, asking if you have seen anything or allowing us to search your property. You may see UAV resources in the air, our drone units, and you might see marine resources and divers in the water.
That's everything that we have, unless there's anything else that we left out.
No, that's pretty much it, guys. I wish I had more to tell you. It's basically just more of the same. I mean, we're just continuing to push through it and see if we can locate this child.
Have you guys ever handled something like this before?
The division has handled missing children reports. In many cases, they come to a quick resolution because we put so much effort into locating children that are missing, especially at this young of an age. But this is the longest search for a missing child that I've seen in my career.
Could you tell us what is there a difficult terrain, anything that's making this search more problematic?
In certain areas of this coastline, there are some muddy areas and low-lying tidal areas that bring about a challenge, but we are utilizing a number of resources to overcome that challenge, and I think it's being done very efficiently.
Can you talk about the other resources from other counties or cities that are coming to help you guys with your search?
Sure. Poquoson Police Department has offered a wind boat, an airboat, that allows us to navigate shallow tidal waters. We also have Hampton Fire out here with us that has provided waders for officers to search low-lying areas, and our joint police and fire dive team is exploring various areas throughout the water that's accessible to divers.
You said FBI is also assisting the police.
FBI is assisting in an investigative capacity, and State Police has provided resources. Of course, you see the command bus, and we have additional resources en route as well.